Ladies and gentlemen, we got another Hall of Famer, but we went up to Wisconsin this time. And we brought the cat back. The cat is known throughout America for people who would know about high school soccer. And the cat, which is an unbelievable educator and coach and blah, blah, and everything else. Because soccer is life and life is soccer. And we have, from the Wisconsin Soccer Hall of Fame, our friend, soon to be yours, Greg Winkler, ladies and gentlemen. Greg.
Oh, thank you, Kevin, for all the applause.
Yes, exactly. Out here at Boom Boom Productions studios in downtown Holly Hills, they're in the backyard and going out behind the garage, out the alley, and they're almost going to the next block.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah. Oh, Greg. So anyway, here it is. You get the news of a really shabby type of carrying on, and you wrote a very mature, very thoughtful, very insightful piece about the sacking of Terry Michler. And I just would like, to leave it there and have you jump on board. You know the X's and O's. And, the basic thing of searching you. And John Walsh gave us your contact information. And I just, how you came about it and if you still feel the same way now. So here you are, Greg. You're and if you're from Wisconsin, you're not short on words.
No, we like to talk.
Oh, and I love it. I love to listen. So have at it, Greg. This is your podcast.
Oh, my pie. All right. So you've done over 500. So I'm gonna say this is my first, right?
Right, but you're 503, baby. You're number
503. That's a good number.
Yes, right. That's right.
Well, I spent a lot of time volunteering and doing things for the United Soccer Coaches Association, and during that time, Terry Michler's name comes up an awful lot, and he's especially when you start out coaching. I think when I started my career with my first win, Terry was already at 600 or 700, which was unbelievable to me at the time. And then when I talked to him before I wrote this article, he ended his career with 1,070, I believe, which to me, that's absolutely crazy. That's like 25 wins a year for 40 years or something like that. I was trying to figure out the numbers, and it's just an incredible accomplishment. And I didn't looking at Terry, like his picture, he didn't look like he was old enough to have all those years behind him. And he's I think when he was sacked, I think he was 77. Is that correct?
Give or take a few years.
Yeah. So I mean, 77 years old in coaching, that's quite a career. And with his accomplishments, I'm like, what really happened here? Why was he let go? And somebody from the association said that might be a good article for our high school newsletter. So I got a hold of Terry and talked to him through email and a couple phone conversations. And I don't think we've ever met in person. I mean, maybe in passing or a congratulations at one of the conventions, but it was really an honor to talk to him and listen to some of the stories as I thought about this article. And the thing that floored me is that Terry didn't leave on his own. And here's a coach that I think he took a year off, and it looks like one of his former players who was hired to teach at the school, took over for him for that year. And then the next year, Terry came back and coached again. And then right before the next season, from what he told me, he got called in and was just told that they were going in a different direction, which
No,
to me,
they came to him
yeah,
in his home. Yeah.
yeah. And I thought, well, first of all, a guy with the credentials that Terry has, the winning percentage, the number of state championships, the time and dedication that he put into the same school for over 50 some years, like, how do you just come up to a coach like that and say, we're going in a different direction? And I've been on the athletic administrator side as well. And, when you're looking at replacing a coach, like there should be some reasons. There should be some conversation. In Terry's case, if there was something that he wasn't doing as well anymore as an administrator, the right thing to do would be to go to him and say, Coach, there's something you need to work on this year if you want to continue to coach. And give him another season and see if he can correct that issue, which there wasn't an issue. So was the issue like they just wanted somebody younger, which they can't come out and say, but it sounds like he never got a reason. And I think when you're that successful, you still got all your facilities about you, which he does. He's like a big part of the high school championship league that is like starting to grow all across the country. And if his mental capacities weren't there anymore, he wouldn't be doing that. He wouldn't be influencing more programs and more schools and more states to get involved in this high school championships league. So, when I just thought about all coaches, like when your career is over, when you think your career is over and you've been coaching that long, all of that should be your decision. If the athletic department wanted to go in a different direction, the other thing they could have done was sat him down and said, Terry, we would like to, make a transition, honor you however we need to honor you. What would be your choice in how you left this program? And let's find a way to celebrate it and do it this year. And then, instead of saying you're done, like, as far as I know, Terry was getting ready for the next season and they came and told him he wasn't going to be part of it. So
That's correct.
I think that, again, this is a school that he went to, he played for and coached for over 53 years. So I just think that the entire process was just a slap in the face to, like, truly an American coaching legend, not just a Missouri legend, not just the St. Louis legend. What Terry Michler has done, there are many coaches that he's influenced that he doesn't even know that he's influenced, through things through maybe clinics he's given, books he's written, just listening to some of his stories that, he's an influence to so many coaches and they just said, we've had enough. We're moving on. Goodbye. I don't think any coach deserves that, whether they've been coaching 3 or 4 years, but especially, a true legend, so writing the story, I look at Terry and I'm a real big guy on transformational coaching and character building, and everything about this program is about character and about kids and about development. And, the thing is, he's been there so long that these things are ingrained in the program, and whoever steps in, like, seriously, anybody could step in and have some success right away because of what Terry built underneath it. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll absolutely be as successful as Terry, but everything is already in place. If they just continue on with what's built, they'll be successful because they've been that way for 50 some years. So, to me, I think it's a sad story because of the way Terry should have been able to go out on his own terms, whether that would have been that season or 5 years from now. Like, Terry should have been able to say, this is how I want to go out. This is how I would like to turn the program over. And that should have been honored. And again, I think we've lost a lot of that at the high school level. I think I know in Wisconsin, when I left Wisconsin 11 years ago, and came down to Florida, and I coached another 10 years down here. But in Wisconsin, the teachers union was strong. You couldn't just go up to Terry Michler 10 years ago or 15 years ago and say, you're done. There would have had to been reasons, and there would have had some steps taken. And then over the course of time, like those things have all been taken away in Wisconsin. In Florida, I didn't teach at the school I coached at. Somebody could have replaced me anytime they wanted to. And there wouldn't have been any recourse for me. And nobody was going to do it because of what we were building. But Terry's already built that, and he continues to make it even, the base kept getting more solid and more solid. And he had, former players were coming back after they played in college to be part of the program because they believed in it. And I hear he had a pretty good goalkeeper coach.
Hey!
You got to put the ba-bum-bum in there now.
Oh, absolutely, baby. Absolutely.
But so everybody bought into that system and made it, it's got to be the most successful high school program in the country. It's got to be up there because that's a lot of wins over a long period of time. So I was just hoping to solidify that Terry at 77, he wasn't done. He wasn't done, and he wasn't ready to step away, and he wasn't doing things that people looked at and said, "Oh, he's too old to coach." Nobody can hold a candle to that guy probably in the state of Missouri, and he's not on the sideline anymore. So I hoped that I presented it in a way that people appreciated and they understood that Terry got a raw deal. And I think it's a bad look for especially a Christian academy or a Christian school. So that's why I wrote it. And I've talked to Terry since then. I think I put another one of his articles in our newsletter a couple months ago. He's got a lot to offer, and he's like I said, what they're doing with that high school champions league, I think is pretty significant as well. So kudos to anybody that's part of that and anybody that's still working with Terry.
Right. Greg, outstanding. And how can anybody, they'll go on this end a little bit, but could you direct anybody on how the best way to get your article to read it?
Trying to think. It's one of the articles in the newsletter. And what I'll do, I write a Substack. I had to do something when I quit coaching, and I'm retired now. So I don't know if Substack is a way that people who think they like to write can get on and write whatever they want. And
you're my kind of guy.
And it's like a podcast, only you're writing it, and you get subscribers, but there's a yearly fee that you can pay, but I do it for free. If people want to sign up, they can, but they can sign up for free. But what I'll do is I'll put it out as an extra one, and I'll send it to you. Um, and they can read the article again. I'll just put in there that it's a repost of an article I wrote. It's called Life. It's called Life Lessons in Chain Grease, because I'm a avid cyclist. So I go bike. I bike around and I think about stuff and I write down what I think about.
Wow.
So anyway, I'll send it to you, and you can let people know about it. And I also put it on my Facebook page when I promote it, and because I think it's hard to get
Got it. Yeah.
those newsletter articles.
Right.
Once they're done.
Right.
And I think you have to be a member of the United Soccer Coaches to get the newsletter article. So I'll resubmit. I'll redo it in a different platform. I won't change anything. I'll just put it back out there.
Right. So you know that I know that all your friends know. Greg Winkler is a Wales Certified Hall of Affinity. I mean, come on, baby. Oh, yeah.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
Oh, yeah. I mean, gosh. Whoo, man, I didn't, I thought you might have been a bookworm, man, but you're all about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You get the essence of the Wales Certified. I like that. But
well, I can put that on my bio now that I'm Wales certified.
That's right. That's right. And you've really done good for yourself, man. And for the game. Applause. The story goes is that you mentioned about the situation. The patron saint of teachers is the founder of the Christian order of the Christian Brothers, the Lasallian brothers. That's who made it. And we have, from the president and all ALL, all administrators, all the way down to the muckety-muck athletic department, they get a complete F on how to have business administration, institutional, the word, an institution does something like that. You don't come back from this. This is not come on, don't forget about it. You don't know the real story.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
and we've seen those car salesmen before, the used car salesmen. Just the most pitiful. St. John the Baptist de La Salle would have said, "Hey, there's the door, boys. Get going.
Yeah,
get going."
Yeah, I even looked up the old article, and they praised him for what he did. They thanked him, but they never said that they sacked him. They never gave a reason for his departure. They just said they're going in a different direction or whatever it was. But there wasn't any kind of explanation that I could find on any media source. Nothing negative was ever said. This is what I read. Terry's in 7 different Hall of Fames. Like you just let that guy go. Like it's just really, again, it's shameful.
Yeah.
It's saddening. I think that any coach that's been in any program for any amount of time, significant amount of time, they should be able to leave the way they want to.
Yeah.
And here's a guy that's done more for that school, countrywide, making the name known. Like, people know about Christian Brothers because of Terry Michler. Like, it's a sad story, and I'm glad I was able to talk to him in person. I was glad I was able to to write a piece to recognize him. Because again, like I said, he's been a role model to, how many thousands of kids, and coaches alike. So I'm glad he got to interview you for your 500th. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's really something. I don't suffer fools, and the deal came is that was his player, his goalkeeper for 1975, and I had all those years until the year that I came aboard.
Yeah.
And we had a fine year, and then we start winning state championships, and then came short a couple times, but it was always we're in the mix, man. I mean, it's almost like we never got beaten. We allowed ourselves to falter, and the story is CBC's always had a rich tradition for 80 years. I remember my brothers went to McBride High School on Old Kings Highway, and the park was Sherman Park. And my father was a firefighter for 20 years, and he talked about that CBC burnt and where we were standing, and that a lot of people lost their lives and the building was destroyed. But that all through that time, Terry just carried on to what it's gone, to what it's going. And these guys, they're not even on the Shakespeare Eat Day, Brood Day. They're in the Rascals, the Little Rascals, so they got, the alfalfa. Eat Day, Brood Day, I mean, they are so pitiful on their backstabbing ways of conduct that's why they get an F for, business administration or institutional integrity.
Yeah,
they don't have any.
Right.
And
that goes against everything that Terry's taught his players over the years.
Yeah.
The character, the integrity.
And you really, and Terry's always said it, and my gosh, I was floored. It is so real that the game, the athletics, and the student, your educational background and everything about it, the person, that sports and scholarship doesn't build character, it reveals it.
Yep, absolutely.
And you can have a marketing brothers for life type of stuff, Oh, come on, man. That was good. That was good. But when you kick the tires, it all breaks down,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the you can't say enough about them. That almost they could have done anything. I would even go to say a third grade class could have done a better deal than what they did.
I'll agree with you. Yeah, it was not the right way to do it.
No. And there's so many different ways. Hey, nobody's saying, no one. Hey, you can't do that. Hey, you can do it because you want to do it. So go ahead and do it. But have some class and style about it, for God's sakes. Don't be, the St. Louis Hoosier is not from Indiana. It's a despicable person. And that's what they came. And I have to admit, the new president came from Wisconsin.
Oh, no.
You're down in Florida, safe and sound.
Well, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So, we're going to get this article back up because it was really well written and it says it very maturely and educational because that's what kind of guy you are. And so I was wondering, it the World Cup summer. You got anything going on that your audience would like to maybe know and become, akin to whale certified?
I really don't have much. Well, the summer we do head back to Wisconsin, um, right about the middle of right at the start of the World Cup. I think we're doing a little traveling to see family. We're going to New York, and then we got to head up to Canada for a wedding. So I'm going to be watching. I think I'm going to be watching the USA's third game in some pub up in Montreal. um, but yeah, really, I was kind of hoping that we could. I would get a couple of my old coaching buddies together, and we'd be able to go see a game somewhere. But doesn't look like that's going to happen. But we'll find a big screen TV somewhere and hoist a pint while we're watching the U.S. play.
I mean, really, watching the soccer back in the day, we used to watch while we're, the English FA Cup on a little black and white, man. It was unbelievable, but it was delicious. It was delicious.
Yeah.
And the magic of it all. Do you have anything to say about, pardon, say for the, you got 10 more minutes with me?
Oh, all right.
Okay.
10 more minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So the story goes with soccer. The same mistakes that you've seen in 2000 and before 2000 and this and that, it just repeats itself, That just major things of saying, players, the ball does not go across the sideline. The ball doesn't go across the end line unless it's in between the two goalposts. And it's just, my God, how many times? And how many times of this or that? And you have to say, you always hear, shoot,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I just take a penny for every time I hear it. Because when that usually happens, it goes high, wide, and not so handsome.
That's yep, you're right.
And, but when the boy or girl is in focus and with their body shape, boom, it's all net, baby.
Yeah. And again, I think I've been writing a little bit recently about watching coaches on the sidelines and how they interact with the players, and the whole thing about character revealing itself in big moments. And I've been to a couple of youth basketball tournaments because we have a friend that has a pretty good little basketball player, and the way that we're coaching these kids, a lot of time these youth coaches, they're not instructing, they're yelling. Kids make a mistake on the field or on the court, and they yank them out, to sit them because they're not performing. And I think that's part of those kids. Then they play scared, or they're afraid to make mistakes. And if they're doing that in 5th and 6th grade, like if the coaching isn't corrected, those are the same players that are going to be out there someday on your high school team or on the college team or even in a World Cup.
Yeah.
There's you're only as good as, the development you've had, and the wrong instruction, I should say, or the wrong tone can, can disrupt their thinking and get them out of their game. And the one thing I liked about soccer, I coached football for a long time, and the one thing I liked about soccer is I did all my coaching in practice. I did all my yelling or screaming or correcting or whatever in practice. And when it came to game time, there's not a lot of yelling from the bench. Like, they're out there, they're in the moment. If I yell anything to them, it's way past it. And if you watch these professional, you know, club coaches, they're doing the same thing. They're evaluating from the sideline. They're not yelling instructions to these guys. They're letting them play because it's one of the most creative games that we have. And watching these players out on the field, respond to what they're seeing all the time and having the freedom to do that. And I think a lot of our youth coaches are not learning the messages that older coaches have been telling them, and you have to let these kids find their way. You can't puppet master them. And if you want them to be creative players, you want the next Messi to come, first of all, kids got to have some talent, but they got to be able to feel free to create, and to try things on their own, and make those mistakes when they're young. And again, I think that we don't see it as much. If you watch a professional basketball game and you watch a professional soccer game and you just watch the coaches, there's a lot more screaming and yelling on a basketball court sideline than there is in a soccer pitch. Those players, the coach knows he has to have them ready when the game starts. There's nothing you're going to do during the first half to change what's happening in the first half. You might be able to make some adjustments at halftime, but if you didn't train it, it's not going to show up on game day. So I think that's one of the things I like to watch more now is the sideline behavior, and how players react to their coaches. And I think that the Olympics is a great time to just watch really incredible athletes create and enjoy the game. And I really like watching the professional game because they just, they have the freedom to play, and they're just amazing. And they can show a lot of things. You can take video clips and show your players and go, hey, this is what you got to do. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah. Well, everybody's got their opinions, and everybody is going to have the chance to make their opinions known after this after the summer of 26. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, baby, hold on. Pay attention, because you're not too poor to pay attention. Is that this United States National High School Champions League, baby? It's going to be on fire.
Oh, absolutely. The growth of that program has just been amazing. It's really, really fun to watch it expand across the country.
Yeah.
And that's, again, a lot of hard work goes into it. But
yeah, Japan had 70,000 people at the final for their high school champions league.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, really, and
Yeah.
so, the big USA, well, divvy it up a little, put a pie, but it's, I mean, everybody wants to play soccer all year round, maybe take a day or two for Christmas, but I mean, everybody, oh, keep playing, you got to play. Well, there's way of playing to become good.
Yeah.
And if you're not good, you're there. You say, my gosh, and then it doesn't like you step out and become a mother or a father and or a big brother and learn how to coach and you're just repeating the cycle. Rinse,
Yeah,
wash,
yeah,
rewash. You know,
yeah. I just read an article about how our youth coaches are not they're so focused on the result now that they're not doing the developmental stuff they need to be doing with kids at whatever age they're at and whatever skill they should be refining at that age so they can, move on to the next one. We're not giving them that time anymore. We're not taking the time anymore because we're so focused on playing games and winning matches. And I just think back to when I was coaching little club kids, how much time we spent on like the skills and the techniques, and um, how little time we actually spent on tactical stuff. They had to master certain skills to be able to move on to the next tactical situation. So I think we're doing a little disservice there, and some of these kids now are playing on 3 or 4 teams at the same time, and when are they actually getting some real technical time in and not just playing the game, because they're trying to win some tournament,
right.
but
Greg,
I'm always been a big high school fan. I just love high school. I would
yeah,
choose high school over club anytime. And I think
yeah,
the opportunity that these kids are getting now with the Champions League to you know to even push that level even higher, I think is amazing. And the work that those guys are doing to build that program is really should be applauded as well.
yeah. We had a fathers club, that athletic association, that taught us the game of soccer. What they taught, you know, they were pretty good soccer players too. And the guy didn't have any front teeth, and he used the story of saying, "Listen, kids, don't put your head down, trying to head the ball when it's down below you, because somebody's going to try to kick it, and you're going to get the brunt of it." So there was cause and effect.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I remember one of the it was I'm going to say it here, ladies and gentlemen. It was better than going to see Santa Claus, going to see a real good high school game. I mean, it was the holy cow, the whole atmosphere, and the great soccer play. It was just something, lifelong memory. You know, After a while, you say, "Hey, listen, Santa, get going, will you? Come on," you know. And so the story goes is that all this it's art and science, and if people don't treat soccer like an art and science, then it's we're going to keep on getting the way we getting. So
Yep.
so here it is, you big Greg, you big. I don't know what. Hey, the guy said I was the gold standard for the Hall of Affinity. Oh, I forgot that he told me that. But the deal is, congratulations to you, and tell all your friends. Hey, what did you do? You said I got whale certified.
That's right.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
whale certified.
yeah, in the Hall of Affinity, and and so the whole story comes out. We often say here at Whale Certified, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to, for as long as you want to say it for. This is your time, Greg.
This is my time.
This
Oh,
is your time, baby.
you know what? I'm just going to tell you what I tell my people in my Substack. Just keep moving forward. Like, don't stop. Like Terry's upper 70s, don't stop. I'm riding bike with guys that are 81 years old, and they're, riding in a pace line. So keep moving forward and don't stop.
Right on. And I'll have it on film so you could see it. But the whale is going to go top 90.
All right.
I'm going
Thank
to tip it over top 90.
Well, thank you so much for having me on.
All right. All right. And all kidding aside, because I really do feel like you got some really dynamic educational writing to do, and you're going to do it. And I hope that you feel like you use that platform of Whale Certified to get it going and to express it.
So I certainly will. Thank you.
All right. So you don't have a key. You just say, you know who I am, and you're in Whale Certified.
All right. I'm using it. I am using it.
Yeah, man. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Winkler, Hall of Affinity, and you too can be Whale Certified if you would only try. So, thanks, Greg.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, now.